Welcome to Beerstories from Beerstory Brewhouse. This video is about how to remove oxygen from your kegs. There are different ways to remove all the oxygen from your kegs. The one I hear the most is filling it with star sand and then just push it out with CO2. But I'll link to a podcast down below that talks about CO2, oxygen, and so on. It actually turns out that the star sand, of course, it contains oxygen, and especially the foam. And if you brewed, I just brewed a heavily dry hopped IPA. I have 500 grams of hops in this beer for 6 gallons, 20 liters, 5 gallons, 20 liters. So it's a heavily dry hopped IPA, 20 grams per liter of dry hop and 10 grams per liter, I think it was, in the whirlpool. I'll make a grain to glass video with this later. But there will also be a video where I experiment with carbonating with sugar in a bottle, counter pressure filler the bottles as well, and comparing to the keg, also oxygen scrapping caps, where I compare shelf life. So that will be in about a month, where I think this is beginning to get old probably. So when I brewed this, I did everything I possibly could to actually to give it a long shelf life and to prevent oxidation. In the brewing process, I mashed hopped, and mash hopping can actually, the hops will actually make a complex reaction with the iron and copper from the malts, so they can't oxidize down the line and prolong the shelf life. So I did that. I dry hopped with magnets. I transferred everything oxygen free. I use a blow-off tube like this. Like this. This is instead of the airlock, and then just connect it to this one, and then it bubbles away. But and this is where my kegs come in. Because I have a ball lock on here, I can actually attach it to my kegs. So if I attach this to the beer out, I can actually get it to blow oxygen out of this with CO2 for like a week. I can also serial connect more kegs, and then just have a blow-off tube to this in the end. Of course, you will have to have a good headspace so you don't get foam from or corrosion into everything. But I have that covered, so I can actually remove all the oxygen here, probably 100%, for a week or so, just blowing CO2 through my kegs with help of the yeast. So that's actually both sustainable. I'm reusing the CO2 that the yeast produces, and I don't have to do any work. So that's a good thing. The next best thing is to actually boil or almost boil some water. I do that in my all-in-one system, and you can actually see all the, because hot water can't contain that much oxygen, so you can actually see all the oxygen bubbling out of it. And then just fill this all the way to the top until it pours all over the place. Put the lid on and push it out with CO2. That's the next best thing. And number 3 is the old-fashioned way with a star sand, fill it up, and then push it out with CO2. I also use these relatively new O-rings from Kegging. that are less oxygen permeable, because actually oxygen can actually, even though there's pressure in here, actually oxygen will actually travel through the O-rings, especially silicone and the black ones. This has 20 times less oxygen going through it. So this will also give your beer 2 to 3 weeks longer shelf life, and I'm not kidding. So I've done everything possible to actually keep this beer as fresh as possible. And I'll make a video comparing bottles, sugar carbonated, counter pressure filler, this keg, oxygen scrubbing caps, in about a month to see which one is still the freshest. So I guess that was everything for this video. If you have any questions, write to me. Other than that, just have a happy brewing out there, and cheers.